What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Broodwar ladder series. Just came into my feed recently. Bisu versus Speed, so of course we have to cover it. We got first game on Minstrel with Bisu setting out the early probe. Looks like it's going to be a gas steal. Speed, generally, I've seen him do this a lot where he sends the early SCV to the ramp and tries to block a little bit, possibly try to keep that probe out, but it looks like he'll have to deal with a gasless fast expand. Oh my god! Oh, so close. That SCV was insanely low. Went down to 3 HP. I saw there at 1 second. At one time. Probe gonna loop back around. That SCV will be a prime target. He can find it in the mineral line. He will. Oh, one more hit. There it is. He does find that and kill it. Speed's bad, though, for not sending it to a patch in the back. Drop it into one of these patches here. It's not as easy to target. Also, you can take a little time to repair that up. It's not like you're going to hit a super swift factory timing or something like that, and you need those extra minerals. But keeping that SCV alive is actually kind of a big deal, and he ends up losing it, so it's not going to be feeling too good about this early game. As a Zealot comes across the map. Want to mention that Bisu is on a barcode. Speed is on his main, so Bisu knows exactly what he's up against, but Speed likely doesn't have any idea that this is who he's facing. Unless somebody in his chat is letting him know, that could be a possibility. Speed does stream. And this one Zealot just going to walk right past. Oh, it actually turns around. Thought it was going to go right up into the main base, but Speed will get his command center on the way. This assimilator is going to die in due time, in good time. And just start to take his gas now. And in fact, we'll take that right away. Zealot thinking about running by here. Oh, the block is good, though. Maybe that was just on a rally. Not 100% sure. But I don't think that's what Bisu had in mind. Losing a lot of those shields and even some HP from that Zealot. Now the Marines can come out and be a little aggressive, but I don't imagine we'll see him push out too far. Not building any Marines behind this, and doesn't have his factory down yet either. Zealots are just going to come back to the front. Sort of threatening, but unlikely to actually try this run by any longer. Second gas going to be thrown down immediately as he gets into his first factory. What's going to be the follow-up from Speed? Well, Bisu's got a robo on the way, as you might expect. The question here is will he go for a very quick third around the 6-minute mark, or is he going to get some more gateways online and get into this Reaver? Go 3 gate goon is the safest, but could lead you or leave you in a bad position later on if your opponent decides to be greedy. So far, no other gateways have been added on. No second factory either. Looks like we're going to get a starport out of Speed. Going for a starport after gasless fast expand. That starport is going to be quite late. Is he going to go double? Or is he double starport? What in the hell? Speed is going double starport versus Bisu? Okay. This is going to be wacky. A wild and wacky game is what we're in for now. Robotics on the way. He is going to go Reaver, so that's one thing going in Speed's favor. That Reaver's going to get shut down pretty handily by this 2-port Wraith, but this is certainly not a typical build. Nothing standard about this at all. This is completely out of left field. And will likely get completely slapped down by Bisu. As soon as he figures out what's coming, he'll likely have the exact right answer to just never allow Speed to really get out of his base to do any sort of push or expand, because so much of his money is going to be spent on wraiths in this game. The wraith switch is something that you can do when your opponent is going carrier. If you're able to hide the fact that you're going wraiths, you can catch them off guard and snipe down the carriers, and then, assuming you've already got the income, economy, and factory count to just steamroll their ground army, then that should be a free win once you kill all the carriers. But in this case, he does not have those other factors. He does not have a great setup behind this, and this is about to get scouted, guys. Oh, he doesn't want to reveal that, but I think he might have seen the double wraiths there. I'm pretty sure he was able to spot that. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. What is he gonna do with this Reaver shuttle? If he sends it in now, I think I'm pretty confident that he didn't see those wraiths, because that is absolute suicide. I guess he didn't see it. And so he's gonna send them in while taking a third and finally adding gateways behind this. Here comes that shuttle. The wraiths are going to immediately answer, and boom, just like that, the Reaver is gone. Making a lot, getting a lot of value out of these wraiths already. But he's not done. He's gonna go across the map now and start to harass with Cloak, which just finished up. He's building another wraith behind this. I'm a little bit surprised to see that. He should be adding factories here soon. He doesn't have like a massive army to push now. It's like, oh, I killed the Reaver. Now you don't have real defenses. It's not like he can just suddenly come in and just start attacking this natural or anything. He's still gonna sit back for a long time, and we're definitely gonna have answers for the wraiths here soon. And snipe that observer. That's pretty good. Could come in and try to snipe some probes potentially as well. There's the factory explosion going up to, was that 4? To the 5th, yeah, 5 now. And so we may end up seeing a CC behind this, but I'm not 100% sure. Only killed a couple of things, just one probe and a single observer. Not the greatest for this much of a commitment into wraiths. The snipe on the shuttle is amazing. Maybe he can do that again. Maybe he can wait for another shuttle to come out and snipe that down as well. That might make things a little bit more worthwhile. He's starting to slowly push out, repairing those wraiths, and really getting his macro underway. He's finally abandoned producing anything off of these starports, and is going to move to take this third. Dragon's looping around. Tanks are not in position just yet to protect this third base. Hasn't started that yet either, but I assume that's going to be on the way here in a moment. And I think we're going to see a science facility here soon as well, sending the wraiths through the middle of the map to see if he can spot any army coming his direction, while the rest of his forces head around the southern side. He's going to bait the dragoons up and try to get a position where he sets up mines here and then sets up his tanks back in the corner, going after some probes in the natural. He's pulling Bisu's army way into the main base, so there's a big opportunity maybe for him to set up this army. He's just not taking it right now. He's dragged everything so far back. The Bisu's gonna have a hell of a time responding with his forces. Maybe he sees the number of gateways and decides that it's not worth it to attack just yet. His third base is on the way. He gets caught by some Dragoons, and the Wraiths will get shot down super quick, so he decides to pull back a little bit. I'm a little bit kind of confused as to why Speed didn't try. Like, he could have gotten to here without Bisu even knowing about it. Run forward, set up a bunch of mines there. It looks like he's going for it now, but this seems so ill-timed. He had such a big window to do this earlier. He's doing it at kind of a weird moment. The Dragoons are going to come up. The Zealots are in force now. Of course, the Vultures holding everything back pretty well. There's not a whole lot of Zealots here, but drops are going to come out. Got to target down the Dragoons as best he can. Try not to shoot these Zealots with the tanks. But looks like everything will be cleared. And Bisu might be able to counterattack with this. He's going to load up a bunch of Templar in a dropship. And think about coming across the map to deal some damage. There's only 2 tanks back at home. 1 on the high ground over here as well. Vultures head out on the map. Bisu in a solid position now after wiping out that force. It was just a bit too slow to move. I'm surprised that Speed didn't take the opportunity of all of those Dragoons chasing him all the way back into the main base to come in here and get a better setup. Set up a whole bunch of mines right there. Get the tanks in a nice spread position. I'm gonna start to hit the Nexus while Bisu attempts to respond, but I also didn't see the Wraiths with that army, so I'm guessing most of them actually died. Not seeing them anywhere right now. If he looped around to here and then brought the Wraiths back to his army, it would have been almost impossible for Bisu to do what he just did by dropping on top of the tanks with his Zealots. I think that's the real purpose of having those Wraiths, so I'm a bit surprised to see Speed not utilizing them in that manner. Now on 4 bases, Bisu is looking very healthy. 61 probes. He's clearing out mines. He's getting these lanes clear so that he can hit wherever he chooses. So many different counterattack pathways on this map. Generally not a favorable map for Terran, I feel. So hard to control any lanes of aggression, or all the lanes of aggression. There's just so many different lanes, areas that the Protoss can maneuver towards, and it's hard to react to everything that they're doing, everywhere that they're going. Find that problem with Zerg on this map against Protoss as well. Protoss with this shuttle style, he can just bring the entirety of his force into a lane that you're just not expecting, that you're not prepared for. And I think that the southern lane is going to be the lane that Bisu chooses. We got Vultures moving around this bottom side, and so he might be able to catch these forces heading down here. He actually gets a scan off and sees what's going on. So he'll definitely set up some mines, maybe bring some more tanks down to this point, down to this base. Get a little bit more defensive. We got Stargate on the way. Army moving in. Like a Vulture's gonna go around the side. He set up such a great defensive spot right there, but I don't know about actually on the 3rd base. Great storm there, hitting the tank as well as a bunch of SCVs. Another good storm in the back line. More storms coming out. Looks like the shuttles will slowly start to fall, but he's already done, I think, enough damage pushing through Bisu. His Zealots are getting stuck behind this army, but they're going to trickle forward here at the end of this fight. He's committing a lot of Dragoons here to try and break this. There's 1 more tank firing. 2 more are going to siege up on the high ground. More Templar coming to the fore as well. I don't think he's going to be able to hit those tanks on the high ground too well. Dragoons, for the most part, are going to be missing a lot of their shots. So he will just back away. Still has a good number of storms, a good number of Templar in the pocket. Another base coming up for Speed. Gonna try to expand in the opposite direction. As is Bisu. He's expanding over at the top side as well. Setting up another big army. He's got a 70 supply advantage now. Bisu has done work in this game. Despite being caught off guard by the 2-port Wraith, you can see why. Oh my god, that was so many kills. Ooh, Speed just taps out immediately. Losing a good proportion of his SCVs is too much. And he's not going to take it anymore. He knew how far behind he was. Full 70 supply behind, something like that. I didn't see exactly how many probes were killed there at the end, but we can go back. Or how many SCVs were killed. We can go back and take a quick look at that final drop. Let's see how many kills on this Templar. He already has 4 kills. Look at the transfer coming in. So there was 53 workers. The storm comes down. Oh, man. That is so many. He picked it back up, so we don't get to see. But that was a full 10 workers that just got killed by that one single storm, and he was already light years behind. So Speed gives up. We're gonna jump into game number 2. Okay, we're back for game number 2, and we're gonna see what Speed has in store for us. For game number 1, that was certainly something experimental, something he was trying out. We're gonna see a more normal game out of him now. Remember, for Speed, this is just a random barcode player on the ladder. You may not be aware that he's actually going against the legend, Bisu, who's not going to let him get away with planning on him with 2-port Cloak Wraith. But I would maintain that that was actually looking quite good for Speed for a moment. If only he had taken a little bit more advantage of what the Wraiths were offering him. Had he utilized that moment when the army was completely out of position to move in on the 3rd and then bring the Wraiths back around to snipe the shuttle that came in, because the shuttle was a big part of what actually broke that push. Also, you know, not setting up mines and setting the vultures around the Nexus instead of setting them up in more of a defensive position to just deny the base rather than try to kill every probe at the base as well. If you can just kill the Nexus, I think that's good enough. But Speed really wrapped around. He lost a lot of vultures trying to kill probes. Anyways, I digress. We're into this game now. The past is the past, and a zealot is being made to come in pressure while the gas has been stolen by Bisu. Gas's fast expand is not the way I generally like to see Speed open, but it's not really a choice. A moment like this, again, I used to see a lot of Speed sending SCV to the ramp. We're here on Minstrel again, the 2-player map, so you know that it's likely a probe will come. Just standing on the ramp and trying to block is a pretty reasonable decision to make. But instead, he's going to have to hold this zealot on the ramp and get his gas in the meantime. Starts a CC now out in the front with 3 Marines and a 4th. About to pop out, or there it is. It's in the background there. Gas is on the way, and no bunker, but there's no second zealot either. Just the one zealot to put on the pressure and get the information that he wants. And so Nexus behind this. It was Nexus after Gateway. He's got his gas on the way now. Cybernetic score as well. Bunker is going to be finishing up here in a moment. Probably unnecessary though. Might have been able to get away without making that. Cracking the SCV down with that probe. Pretty nice for Bisu to get that. Remove the scouting SCV from the game. We're going to see our first factory. Are we going to see another wacky build, or will we just get a second factory on the way? I hope to see 2 factory out of Speed. Back at home for Bisu. Same build as last time, pretty much. Pretty close. He's got the Reaver, or got the Robo off of one gateway. We might see the exact same strategy out of him again. Because this is definitely going to be a different game, no doubt about it. 2 factory, there it is. 2 factory play out of speed is exactly what I wanted to see. After this gasless fast expand, you can get those units out pretty quick. 3 factory, okay. This is more of a modern style. With the 3rd factory, you're gonna have buttloads of units, but you gotta cut somewhere. We're gonna see him get a later academy because of this. Gonna get that academy on the way. No, see, this is a little bit of a cut that has to be made, but maybe you can put on some aggression. Put on some aggression here. Excuse me. Been having a little stomach problem lately. Not feeling the best, but I'm still good to go, still good to cast. Hopefully I'll be getting better soon and it won't get any worse. I'll keep you guys updated. If I have to skip a few days or something, I'll make a post. Feels like I might be catching something, but I don't want to jinx it. We've got 2 gateways down now. And we're past the 6-minute mark. Are we going to see that 3rd base come down? Because this is a situation where you could get pretty badly punished. I don't see a 3rd. And he's pumping non-stop Dragoons while getting into speed shuttle with Reaver. I think Bisu has the antidote to an attack like this. He's going to loop around with the Dragoon. Force the Marines and Siege Tank to take a bit of a different route, which, you know, might make things a little complicated for old Speed. Let's see how he handles this. Run right up with those vultures. And then we'll put some damage on here, but he's not really getting anything out of this. He's setting down a bunch of mines, but they're just getting cleaned immediately. The Dragoon has been pushed up towards the north. The tank comes in and takes a lot of damage. Ooh, that one mine connection. Actually quite important. More vultures are going to come in now. The Dragoon from behind might be able to come running up and snipe that tank, which could be quite impactful for this attack. This is a lot of pressure onto Bisu, but there's the tank. That Dragoon from the flank with 6 kills. Wow. 6 kills overall. Finally clearing everything up. And Speed has been pushed back. This was an interesting timing out of him with the 3 factory. But not the best execution once again. He let the Marines go in kind of an awkward direction. And Bisu just kind of sidestepped around him. Judo flipped him, if you will. Whereas now he's got his Reaver and Dragoon heading into the main. I'm liking this position from Bisu. He could get a lot of damage, potentially. Could also get none. That is always a possibility. He drops the Dragoon to eat the mine hit there. Picks it back up after it's pretty much lost all of its health. I'm going to try and get some kills on these SCVs. Very nice shot there. Getting a lot of damage. Another 2 vultures go down as well, and he will be able to slide out with that shuttle speed. Very good damage here in the main base, killing off a lot of SCVs and slowing down Speed dramatically. So already Speed has lost some tanks, he's lost some vultures, he's been harassed as well. Bisu looking in tip-top shape. You'll love to see it. I've heard some good things about Bisu lately. Oof, losing or taking some damage on these Dragoons. Some of the old school players apparently doing quite well in some recent tournaments. So I'm very excited to see in ASL whether Bisu and the likes of Jadong are able to perform at a caliber that we can be happy with. I think a lot of players have been kind of unhappy with Bisu and and a lot of viewers have been unhappy with Bisu and Jaden's performance in the most recent SSLs. Feels like a lot of the old guard kind of getting pushed to the side for some of these new players, which is a good thing as well. It's always nice to see new and upcoming players that are performing at a high level. But everybody has their favorites from back in the day. And I don't see, well, 5 factory, okay. 6 factory, well, I guess we know what Speed is up to. He scans the main, he sees the gateway count is skyrocketing up. Does he cancel? What did he do there? I heard something explode, a building explode. Okay, killed his own bunker. That was not really being used anymore. I don't think he has any Marines left after pushing out a bit early. Going up to 7 factory, no, 6 factory. If you're gonna go 6 factory, might as well go 7. There's the armory. The +1 done. +1 armor is on the way. Storm is coming up as well. So we're actually gonna have Storm. Protoss is gonna have Storm. Bisu is gonna have Storm before this attack gets fully underway. Oh, he loses the shuttle. Both Reavers inside. That is a massive loss for Bisu. Trying to play a game of footsies there with the Terran as he was coming across that bridge. Comes out a DT as well. Just forces the 1 scan. Does a little bit of damage, but nothing more than that. Another DT sent in. This is going to buy him some time. Get those Templar out. Another round of Zealots. He doesn't have speed yet, but it's almost done. There's Zealot speed finishing up now. 8 Zealots in production. He's gonna drop all over this. Great target fire there on that first shuttle. Good Storm as well. Another great Storm here in the middle of these units. And with the follow-up Storms and this round of Zealots that's about to come out, I think Bisu crushes this. He should be able to just run through this army. Although the bridge is a scary place to die. It's like, do you really want to die for that bridge? Bisu sees the unsiege and he decides to go for it. Ah, it's so hard to get across here. Bisu is struggling to get his Dragoons to move. He loses 3 Dragoons for that. That is insufferable. Really struggling to make his units move in that important little choke. Meanwhile, Speed adding on another base. Looks like Bisu wants to do the same. Gonna try and take a base over in top right hand corner. Only has the 1 cannon here, so it's not that well defended. His bottom, oh my gosh, oh no, a lot of damage from some of these mines, it looks like. Losing 3 or 4 Dragoons there, that is super painful. Things are starting to go a little bit bad for Bisu. Speed had somewhat bumpy opener. Bisu seemed to be getting the better of him slightly. But Speed is certainly still in this game and he's making a good showing for himself. He's gonna push over through the center top lane. And he opens up a pathway to maybe go up towards the top lane, try to hit that fresh 4th that's coming down. Bisu is double expanding behind this, by the way. Taking multiple bases at the same time, while simultaneously dropping these Reavers and trying to get some damage going. And plus with Storm, pushing all of this back. That's not a lot of tanks, guys. Gonna be hard for Speed to retreat out of this. If he was able to drop the Reavers in front of the army, it would have him stuck between a pretty difficult position, but looks like everything will be able to back up now. Shuttle coming around the side. Trying to get on top of these tanks. Is he gonna get a big shot? There it is. Huge shot there. Another Reaver shot should come out. Killing off yet another tank. There's the target fire on the Reaver. So that gets taken down, but the Great Storm in the back line, he's not able to follow it up with a second Storm though, and now he's in a bit of trouble. Probes are getting caught on the transfer. Only the one cannon at this base, and one cannon sure doesn't do a heck of a lot. If you've got a bunch of 1-1 vultures in the mineral line to come in and kill off a few more probes, dropping that count very close to on par with where Speed is at now. A fourth base is going to be taken none too soon. He's starting to run low on these minerals. Vultures in between the two bases, continuing to just make a nuisance out of himself. Meanwhile, small tank move more towards the back of these mineral patches. That wasn't gonna work out too well, I don't think. Not sure what Speed was thinking there, but he's gonna retreat to a more defendable position with more reinforcements coming up. Vultures will finally be cleaned out, and I guess mining can resume at bottom center as soon as probes are transferred. Set up another base in top right. He's very light on cannons. I don't like it. Air weapons on the way. We might see a transition into carriers, but why not put 3 cannons over at this base? He's put 3 down at bottom center, but being so light on the cannons at these two very important locations. Another cannon finally starts. I find like 3 cannons or 3 sunken colonies is pretty good at dealing with vultures. Gets rid of them in a timely manner so that at least some workers are left alive. If it's like 2 cannons or 1 cannon, every single worker will be dead and the vultures will still run away for the most part. Most of them will get away after that. Oh my gosh, Speed. Are we serious? What were we doing with these tanks? Oh my goodness, just willy-nilly out here on the map with his tanks. And a lot of them get caught. He loses like 3 or 4 tanks before the engagement ever happens. He's gonna need some amazing mine connections if he wants to win this. That was not the mine connection that Speed needed. And he's gonna be pushed back really, really hard. These tanks on the low ground are gonna get killed, and likely he'll lose this CC as well. A huge mistake there happening for Speed. That was not the engagement he was looking for. And what the heck is this tank heading out on the map for as well? Starting to suspect maybe a broken replay at this point with the way that Speed is sending his units in just to die. If that were the case, I would, of course. Oh, that mine connection was amazing. Of course, just go back and cut the video, let you guys know that there's a broken replay, and then continue from the point where I found that it was broken. I don't think it's the case. It's like both players have rebuilt most of their workers. Still a lot of stuff in production. I think that was a scan right there. And indeed it was. Scan on these carriers. The transition has been revealed. This is a great moment for Speed. He did lose a lot of tanks in that last engagement, but he might have enough to get a push going and start to take out some of these bases. The problem is, let's say he pushes towards the south with his army. There's still 2 bases over here on the top side, even if you take out both of these. Alternatively, if he pushes to the north, again, 2 bases down here at the south. So no matter which way he pushes, there's still going to be plenty of money for Bisu coming in, so he can continue to make these carriers and build up to that 6 count where things get to be very, very scary. Kill some of his own eggs as he sees the army moving into position to maybe assault this location. Setting up on the other side of the minerals. It's a difficult area to engage into, but when everything's clumped, Storms are going to be massive. Tank heading out in an awkward direction. He's going to join it back up with the pack. Speed is on the warpath, heading out towards this expansion. Doesn't have any Goliaths on the way just yet. But he has a couple in the mix, and he's going to get these tanks into position to start breaking down this base. Is it going to be enough, though? Because the carrier transition is in full swing. There's plenty of minerals, and this base is not going to be harassed for the time being. Uh-oh. Vultures could have run in and killed a couple of Templar. Maybe gotten the majority of the probes at the natural as well, but instead he's going to loop around. Bring those vultures back over towards his tank line. Get those defenses going. As he pushes in towards that base, Bisu is growing the carrier number. With a 4th Stargate added on, he's going to jump suddenly to 7 carriers, which is an incredibly scary number. Now, this is actually quite good. The push down here at the bottom, well, it would be good if Bisu didn't just have the exact right number of forces to break this. He's just going to instantly drop a huge amount of zealots on top and smash through that encroaching army. Meanwhile, Speed is trying to push on the north and moving his way through over towards this natural. Where are all the Goliaths? So he built a ton of turrets there, but now he's moving away from the turrets. Oh my goodness. A lot of SCVs going down here in this bottom left corner. A lot of these Goliaths are just fighting for free. They're not really doing much. Only 3 Goliaths in this army. The turrets haven't been rebuilt. These Goliaths are actually dying from the rally. He's pushing over towards top right at the same time as he's doing this, but he's going to lose a lot of tanks if he's not careful. Oh, a carrier goes down. The carrier falling already is kind of insane. He should have been able to keep these alive, but didn't pull back as the attack was happening. Maybe a little bit too much going on the map. These tanks may all end up going down, though. Yeah, these tanks are all gonna fall. He targets down the Templar at least, so he's not just gonna get stormed to death immediately. He hasn't been able to push in over here at the top side. I guess there was maybe some storms available to try and slow that down. Wow, that's so many Templar. Holy crap. Oh, that mine, so sexy. If you guys didn't know, the AKA of Speed is also sexy. AKA Speed, AKA 10-minute flash. Carriers are gonna head up towards the north side. That army's been dealt with, though. I think this is kind of, it's looking a little bit inevitable, guys. I think that eventually Bisu will hit that critical carrier number where there's really nothing you can do as the Terran player. It's not making raids or anything. And the carrier number is already quite high. It's already at 5. It's gonna suddenly jump up again as he gets more bases online and he continues to mine and just crank out these carriers. It's gonna get harder and harder for Speed to keep up. He's pushing in on this base. He's actually gonna snipe down the Templar immediately. It's quite useful. Another, oh god, another storm is gonna be ready here in a moment. You should be able to get another one down. There's another 3 carriers. And yeah, we've reached that moment, I think, where there's almost nothing you can do. We'll give Speed a minute. Let him cook. Let's see if he's got something special for us. The ground army is not looking too hot for Bisu. I mean, there's almost nothing on the ground. So if he just brings like 2 or 3 tanks along with his army, he can push with otherwise pure Goliath. He's continuing to make vultures, which kind of boggles the mind considering how much gas he has. Wouldn't expect to see that many vultures get made, but there it is. Running forward here, gonna come up and snipe some of these Templar preemptively, then gonna set up mines behind it as well. Is he ready to push, though? It's a pretty sizable army, but man, is Bisu far ahead. 40 supply with a carrier army? That is not looking good. I mean, you can survive 40 supply behind us, the Terran, if your opponent is going for a standard gateway man play. But when he's got +2/+1 on his carriers, and he's got Storm as well. Oh, he's trying to run forward into this, and the Storms are just eviscerating everything. That's a lot of tanks. So the ground army can no longer approach. Plus, a lot of the probes are going to end up dying, but the Goliaths are just not really there. Oh my goodness, he's going to jump on top of this again. He gets another carrier. Okay, Speed. Let him cook, boys. Let's see. Can he get another one? Gonna run forward. Gonna get another kill here. I think he's got this. I think he's got another kill. No, he doesn't target down the right carrier there. Is looking for the low HP one and trying to pick it off. I'm gonna go ahead and snipe down that observer. Getting shoved back once again. Another carrier goes down. So he does see that low health carrier and snipes it. There's another low health carrier in the middle. +3 is about to be done. Pushing back this CC once again. I think it was floated down towards bottom left, but he pulled it away. Starting to get low on minerals. Only 2 bases mining for Speed. I guess only 1 base mining though for Bisu. Wow, he really ran out of resources here. It was kind of crazy. Really didn't think that was gonna happen. Some tanks are gonna get shot down. Looks like the CC fell as well. SCVs, long distance mining from this base. Very close to a mine out. But he can start to expand in opposite directions if he wants to. Speed can take top center and bottom left at the same time, and it'll be very hard for the carriers to respond. Big ground army is being made by Bisu. He's kind of foregone making any more carriers due to the fact that tanks are kind of in low supply at the moment. Maybe he can overwhelm this with just a pure ground army. He's got great upgrades. Of course, Speed has good upgrades as well. But he's making mostly Goliaths. And this is a big Zealot Templar Dragoon force, which kind of wrecks Goliaths. Main base has been pulled. Gonna go ahead and mine at 12. Hasn't pulled his natural just yet. Probably gonna build a CC here shortly though. Cutting down this base over here again. Running forward with 4 carriers, going for the kill. He gets, or 4 Goliaths, gets a kill on a carrier. That's a sneaky little move there by Speed. However, this base is gonna end up getting pushed back. And where is he gonna try to push into? Just denying the base again is great, but I'm not sure it's enough. He's staying 1 base ahead of the Protoss though. That is a big deal. It's not going to be for long, as this base is about to mine out. But if he can stop this base from mining, Protoss is going to dry up in just a few more minutes. And Speed's still going to have this for about another 5 minutes. He's got time. He's got time to push this, kill this base, and take another expansion down in bottom left behind it. Can he do that? Can he make that work? All the tanks are getting stuck over here. Ooh, he sniped down the shuttle. That's very important. There was potentially more Templar in there as well. Carriers are coming down, but the number is very low. Tanks have been stuck for kind of an incredible amount of time. They're finally going to make their way to the front. Some more good storms here and there, doing a lot of damage to these tanks. The ground army has withered out. Not a whole lot left with this fighting force. The two tanks are gonna die. Diving on top, there's a great storm, dealing so much damage to these ground forces. He's gonna go after the Templar, and he has a lot more reinforcements coming down. My gosh, Speed has so much moving into this position. He's bringing a lot of Goliaths down. some tanks as well. He's gonna get rid of the zealots here in a moment. This Archon doing so much work as well, just splashing down a lot of these Goliaths. He's gonna fit his army through this corridor. Let's get a mineral check. It's super low. Just a few minerals being mined down here at bottom center, and no defenses. He's bringing all the probes down now, but he has to get this base online. Speed is mining. Bisu truly is not. He's gonna bring forward some more Templar. There's a great snipe, killing off that Templar in the back line. Can he get another one? Unfortunately, Siege is underneath the storm, so taking a huge amount of damage there. More Templar coming to the fore. I'm sure Speed is wondering, where are you getting all this money? The middle of the map is being mined. Uh-oh, Speed getting away with some mining in the middle of the map might change the tides. He's officially on 2 bases right now, whereas Bisu just barely got his 1 base up and operational. Killing off all of the interceptors is kind of a possibility right now. If you start killing off masses of interceptors, it's going to be very hard for Bisu to replenish those. Sniping down the Templar is great, but sniping the carriers is better. There it is. He gets the last carrier. GG is called. Speed takes out Bisu, despite Bisu having that massive giga force of air units. Truly, the Ginyu force of the Protoss army. And Bisu, aka Frieza himself, expected nothing but excellence and was fully disappointed by that flying force that he had amassed. 7 or 8 carriers at one point, but Speed did an amazing job of running those down. This is such a hard map to chase carriers because of all of these different high ground areas. Very difficult to get after those and actually track them down and finish them off, but Speed taking every opportunity to dive upon those, and Bisu is not up to snuff with his carrier control. And so Speed takes him down. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this cast from the ladder. I'll be doing more starting tomorrow. I wanted to mention that I was also on the Starcast TV channel today. I did a cast for the SCSL. There'll be more of those coming up in the future as well. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I think they're going to invite me back. And so you should definitely check that out. It was Sock versus Mini. Good little series. If you're hungry for some more Broodwar, even after you finish your daily dose, go check that out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.